Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. We are discussing about the plasma membrane. This is part 3. So transport of substances across the plasma membrane. We have come across different experiments, simple experiments we have done in the previous 2 classes. So let us recall. Certain substances can easily pass through the plasma membrane by a simple process called diffusion. The term diffusion has its origin in the Latin word diffundere, D-I-F-F-U-N-D-E-R-E, which means to spread out. Okay, diffusion is a simple concept. Diffusion can take place in all states of matter. However, it takes place faster in the gaseous state. Diffusion is the movement of solute particles from a region of high concentration to region of low concentration. For example, gaseous exchange between the tissues and blood capillaries, which takes place by diffusion. The cells produce carbon dioxide when we respire, isn't it? The concentration of carbon dioxide is greater in the cells as compared to the blood present in the capillaries. In the vicinity of the cells, the reverse is true for oxygen. So oxygen concentration is less, so oxygen diffuses into the cells, whereas carbon dioxide concentration is more in the cells due to respiration, so the carbon dioxide diffuses out of the cells. So the carbon dioxide from the cells moves across the cell membrane through the membrane of the capillaries and into the blood. On the other hand, oxygen diffuses from the blood into the cells. So certain molecules which are larger in size or insoluble in lipids like carbohydrates, ions and water can move across the membrane only through certain channels provided by special transport proteins in the membranes. So since these molecules diffuse by the help of special channels, their transportation is referred to as facilitated diffusion or facilitated transport, which we are going to study in the next or coming videos. Okay, here the movement of substances from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration is said to be along the concentration gradient, and the process does not require any energy consumption, so it is called a passive transport. However, sometimes the substances need to move across the membranes against the concentration gradient, okay, which requires energy. Such type of transport is referred to as an active transport, which we are going to study in the next. So like facilitated transport, active transport also requires the participation of the special membrane proteins that helps to transport substances. The facilitated diffusion is always along a concentration gradient, whereas active transport is against the concentration gradient, or it is uphill and requires energy to be utilized. The facilitated transport and active transport are also called as mediated transports. Okay, so we studied the osmosis concept in the last class. Osmosis is the movement of solvent molecules, most often water molecules, along a concentration gradient of water through a semi-permeable membrane. So let us study about the nature of plasma membrane, structure of plasma membrane in detail in the today's class. Are you ready, children? So functions of plasma membrane. First let us study the structure. Shape. So first function, it provides a definite shape to semi-fluid contents of the cell. Mechanical barrier, it acts as a mechanical barrier. It functions as a mechanical barrier that protects the internal contents of the cell. Next, selective permeability. The membrane determines what substances are to be allowed or enter in or exit out from the cell. So, selectively permeable. Then endocytosis. The flexibility of the membrane enables the cell to engulf food and other substances, means foreign particles, from its external environment by endocytosis. For example, amoeba. Amoeba acquires its food by a process called endocytosis. Okay, what is endocytosis? Or the endocytosis is the process by which the materials move into the cell in bulk. It is of two types, namely phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Okay, phagocytosis and pinocytosis. The phagocytosis is the process by which a cell called phagocyte takes in or engulfs or eats other cells or particles. The phagocyte or eating cell could be a unicellular organism like amoeba, or it also takes place, or a particular cell in the body, that is white blood cells. Okay, the organisms like amoeba often use this method, phagocytosis. It is a method of endocytosis. Okay, children, the engulfed food material along with the membrane around it forms a food vacuole or a phagosome. It is called a phagosome. The macrophages or WBC, a type of white blood cells in our body, also phagocytic in function. They eat the foreign particles or germs or antigens, hence form an important part of the body's immune system. Okay, this is a phagocytosis, a type of endocytosis, engulfing, eating. Then pinocytosis. Pinocytosis is also known as cell drinking. In this method of endocytosis, small particles suspended in the fluid outside are brought into the cell by the invagination of membrane forming a vesicle. Okay, so the vesicles and the food vacuoles formed by endocytosis ultimately fuse with the lysosome, and the particles inside are broken down enzymatically. Okay, so children, endocytosis, an interesting phenomenon. Okay, next, let us proceed. The functions of plasma membrane. Recognition. It has the substances over its surface which function as recognition center and the points of attachment. They help in tissue formation, distinction of foreign substances, and defense against the microbes. So recognition centers are present on the plasma membrane, especially some proteins which recognize the antigens. Okay, next, flow of information. Plasma membrane provides for flow of information amongst different cells of the same organism. Okay, next, osmosis. So osmosis occurs due to the presence of tiny water channels in the plasma membrane. Next, cell continuity. It is also a function of plasma membrane. It places plasma membranes of adjacent cells become continuous to form plasma desmata and cell junctions, especially in the plant cells. Okay, continuation. Plant cells plant tissue, cell to cell attachment through plasma desmata, okay. Transport across the membrane. Another function, specialization. Plasma membrane modified to form different functions. Example, absorption in the microvilli. What are microvilli? The microvilli are the structures which are present in the small intestine, ileum of the small intestine. They helps in the absorption of digestive food materials. Digested, the products of digestion are absorbed through this microvilli by means of this plasma membrane. The membrane acts as a physical barrier between the organelles of a cell and the cytoplasm, and between the cells and its surrounding environments. So the membrane is said to be impermeable, permeable, semi-permeable, selectively permeable. Wonderful membrane. Impermeable. If the substances do not pass through the membrane, then the plasma membrane is acting as impermeable. Okay, you know, during the filtration of materials in the nephron of the kidney, if all the substances, glucose, RBC, all the substances are permitted, they go out, they come along with the urine. There it is acting as a impermeable. Then permeable. If the substances, both solute and solvent, can pass readily through the membrane, then it is called a permeable membrane. Okay. Next, semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means if the substances is permeable to solvent but prevent the passage of solute particles, then it is semi-permeable. Okay, then selectively permeable. If the membrane allows the passage of the solvent and some selected solutes, then it is selectively permeable. So here the terms semi-permeable and selectively permeable are often used as synonyms. However, the term semi-permeable describes the ability of the cell membrane to allow certain substances to pass through and does not allow the rest, whereas the selectively permeable, on the other hand, describes the extreme selective nature of a membrane, wherein if the specifically chooses this plasma membrane specifically chooses certain molecules to pass, hence at one place in the body the cell membranes may be actively involved in transporting sodium ions, whereas at other places they will not, as per the requirement of the cell. So this transport cannot be described as spontaneous. The movement of water across the membranes is more spontaneous through the water channels present in the plasma membrane. So when we describe the movement of water through osmosis, the term semi-permeable for cell membrane is more appropriate. Okay, children. Now another activity we come across. The materials required: 3 beakers. We need 3 beakers. And a petri dish, salt, dilute hydrochloric acid, or we can also use toilet cleaning acid, 2 equally sized raw eggs, cloth to wipe, cotton cloth especially, a strip of paper for measurement, 1 tablespoon. Now the procedure: keep the raw eggs in dilute hydrochloric acid or toilet cleaning acid for 4 to 5 hours. Observe what happens. Take out the egg with the help of a tablespoon. Wash the egg under tap water. Measure the circumference of the egg, each egg, with a long strip of paper at its widest place, middle, and mark on the paper with pen or pencil. Okay, prepare concentrated salt solution in a beaker. Okay, in 100 ml of water, we have to add the solute, that is salt. Either you can prepare a salt solution or sugar solution. We have to prepare saturated. Concentrated solution means saturated solution we have to prepare. So here what we have done, we have taken an egg and we dissolve that egg in a hydrochloric acid, dilute hydrochloric acid or toilet cleaning acid. How many hours? 4 to 5 hours. So the shell is dissolved and now the egg is somewhat de-shelled egg in a salt solution or de-shelled egg in tap water. 2 beakers we have taken. So now place 1 egg. We have to prepare the 2 eggs. Then place 1 egg in a beaker with tap water and place the other in salt water. Okay, this is tap water, this is salt water or any one. So leave the beaker, the 2 beakers, for 2 to 4 hours without disturbing. Take the eggs out, wipe them and measure the circumference. So as soon as when we are taking out the egg from the acid, we made a measurement, the circumference, with the same strip of paper which we have used. Already mark on the paper with pen or pencil. Okay, same paper again you mark the circumference. Do you find any difference in the circumference of the egg? The egg placed in the salt water shrinks. The shrinking is due to the water molecules move out of the egg, okay, through the membrane. The egg placed in the tap water swells. The swelling is due to entry of water molecule from the beaker into the egg through the membrane. Okay, these are due to osmosis. In the first case, when you place it in the salt water, exosmosis takes place. In the second, endoosmosis, means when you place that egg in the salt water, water molecules leaves the egg through the membrane. When you place the egg in the tap water, water molecules enter the egg through the membrane. Okay, the circumference decrease in the first case, circumference increase in the second case. Okay, now the lab activity 3. The process in which water molecules leave the cell is called exoosmosis. What is exoosmosis? The process in which water molecules leave the cell. The process in which water molecules enter the cell is called endoosmosis. Endo, enter. Okay, exo, exit. Like that you can remember. Now, preparing a semi-permeable membrane. When you break a boiled egg, you might have observed a thin, transparent layer surrounding the egg white. Okay, a transparent layer, thin layer surrounding the egg white. So this is the layer which prevents free entry of materials into the egg. So that layer acts as a plasma membrane. Only certain materials are allowed to enter into the cell. Thus the membrane is called semi-permeable membrane. Egg membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. It acts as a plasma membrane. Okay, see here the egg membrane, the membrane you need to take. Boiled egg outer membrane after removing the shell. Now the procedure: take a raw egg, keep the egg in dilute HCl or toilet acid for 4 to 5 hours. The shell which are made of calcium carbonate are dissolved. Okay, the HCl reacts with this calcium carbonate and dissolves. Wash the egg under tap water. After 4 to 5 hours, take out that egg and wash the eggs under tap water. Carefully pierce a pencil sized hole in the egg membrane and drain the contents. Okay, inside the yolk is present, no, that you have to drain it. Then wash the membrane with fresh water once again. Now the membrane is ready to use. Okay, so we dissolve the egg, the shell is dissolved, the reaction takes place between the calcium carbonate of the shell and the dilute HCl. So after that we have to wash that egg under the tap water and we have to drain the content by piercing with a sharp pencil, and you have to drain out the inner content, then wash it again. Now this is the membrane ready to use, egg membrane, which acts as a semi-permeable membrane. It is ready to use. Now what we have to do? Now perform the following activity using the egg membrane. The materials required: 2 egg membranes we have to take, then 3 beakers, sugar, water, thread, measuring jar, disposable syringe. Okay, these are the materials required: 2 egg membranes, 3 beakers, sugar, water, thread, measuring jar, disposable syringe. Take 1 egg membrane and fill it with 10 ml of saturated sugar solution. Here the term saturated is used, means concentrated sugar solution. With the help of a syringe, disposable, we need to fill the one of the membrane with 10 ml of saturated sugar solution. Okay, tie its mouth with a thread. Okay, now we prepared a bag of the membrane, inside 10 ml of sugar solution, saturated sugar solution. Next, take 100 ml of tap water in a beaker and keep the egg membrane in fresh water beaker. Leave it overnight. So what we have done? We prepared a egg membrane, and in that egg membrane 10 ml of saturated sugar solution is taken and tied with a thread. So that egg membrane with sugar solution kept in a beaker containing 100 ml of tap water, fresh water. Okay, now take the second, we have to leave it overnight. Okay, then take the second egg membrane and fill it with 100 ml of tap water. With the help of syringe, once again fill the second membrane with 10 ml of tap water and tie it with thread like this. Fill the 10 ml of salt water or which water? Sugar solution, any one you can take, saturated, concentrated, and tie it with thread. Tie the mouth of the membrane with a thread. Now the egg membrane is placed in fresh water in the first beaker, whereas in the second beaker another membrane which we prepared filled with tap water. Prepare 100 ml of saturated sugar solution or salt solution and keep that second plasma membrane, egg membrane, which is filled with 10 ml of tap water in a 100 ml of saturated sugar solution in a beaker. Leave it overnight. Okay. Now measure the contents of egg membranes and beaker and note in your book before experiment. Okay. Measure the contents of egg membranes and beakers and note it in your notebook. Now the next day give reason for your observations. Okay, in both the egg membranes 10 ml content, in one egg membrane saturated sugar solution, in another egg membrane tap water 10 ml. Okay, so next day when you observe the egg membrane with 10 ml of saturated sugar solution placed in the beaker containing 100 ml of water, you mark the levels already. The water enters into the first beaker. Water from the beaker enters into the sugar solution through the membrane. So the content is increased in the membrane, whereas in the second one the water leaves the membrane. Okay, where only tap water is present inside the membrane and sugar solution, saturated sugar solution 100 ml we kept. So the level in the beaker increase in the second one, whereas the level in the membrane increase in the first one. Okay. So in the activities done so far, we have observed how the water move across the membranes from solutions of one concentration to the other. So this process is called osmosis, a process by which the molecules of the solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one until the concentration becomes equal on both sides, is called osmosis. Okay. So here it has happened. Okay. Okay children, I hope you understood the concept. The concept of so before ending, once again let us recap the definitions which we come across. Diffusion is the movement of solute particles from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. Next, osmosis, the movement of solvent molecule across the semi-permeable membrane from a region of here across the semi-permeable membrane we are using the term, okay, from a region of high concentration to region of low concentration of solvent. Okay, here two definitions we come across. Okay, it is referred to as osmosis, and a solution that is dilute or has more water molecules than what is present in the cell is said to be hypotonic with respect to a cell. Hypotonic. More we are going to discuss in future. A solute or a solution that has less water than what is present in the cell is said to be hypertonic with respect to the cell. Next, a solution that has the same concentration of water as that of the cell is said to be isotonic with respect to the cell. Next, we come across a definition: exocytosis. A cell engulfs food particles or foreign substances by phagocytosis, liquids by pinocytosis, and removes wastes by exocytosis. Okay children, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.